know that snack time is often described as so many different things: pop, punk, funk, R&B, soul. Do you all tend to have a way, Eric, that you describe the music you make?
Yeah, this is a great question. It's funny because while we were down at South by, you have a bunch of opportunities to like practice how you describe our music. The way I would describe it is like high energy. It's a party. It's like horn centered, like joyful rock, funk, and soul is what I would say.
Actually, a big way that we've been describing the music and the as this music's been coming out is that we say this is dance music. And I think that what we mean by that is more so dancing in the way of like communities getting together for the actual communal movement of dancing rather than like dance music being dance music in the way of house or techno or like it's dance music, it's music to gather to and music to be together with. So that's why we call it this is dance music. And that's a really important thing to us, is being able to gather people and make them feel good even for like 45 minutes, and like to drop the things that are bothering them and to get together and dance, whatever that means to you.
Sam, who are some of the artists that you listened to growing up and sort of influenced the music that Snack Time makes?
So I grew up actually very much. I've been in punk and ska bands since I was 12 years old. But I also grew up with a lot of jazz in my life. I grew up listening to Meatloaf and Bruce Springsteen with my parents. But it wasn't really until later on in grad school where I really got more into in college and grad school. I got more into like D'Angelo, Earth, Wind and Fire, and Prince, which really is like a huge inspiration to Snack Time as well. So I really do think that Snack Time's sound is very derivative of like all of our influences. There's so much hip hop sound, there's so much, there's folk sound, there's punk, there's kind of like a little bit of everything in there, and it's all derivative of where all of our collective music experiences are from. So it's really cool.
Eric, talk about creating the song together and the story behind it.
I think that's a question for Sam. I think Sam was more actually involved than me with that specific song.
All right, Sam, stage is back to you.
Cool. So the way that a lot of these songs are written are like primarily the three main writers in the band are me, Mike Spearman, and Eric. So a lot of the times we're kind of shopping around different ideas. We'll make a little mock up in Logic, and I actually just sent Eric and Mike an idea not too long ago. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll make a little rough demo idea, and then Mike sent over this idea for the song called Together, and he's like, yeah, man, like this, this is this thing I've been working on. And apparently, the way I didn't know that this was the rest of the story, but apparently when we all stepped out for lunch, he had already eaten. So the song was like he had like a verse and a chorus, but there's this whole back end of the song which he made when we were all eating lunch, and he stayed back. So the lyrics were made by me and Mike, and I believe you say, but yeah, it kind of was mainly coming out of Mike's head, and he made it while he was ironically not there together with us. But we all kind of came together, and like all the rest of our songs, once it hit the bandstand and like everyone got to put their like own musical fingerprint on it, it really came into its own and took the music off of the MIDI page, if you will, and became what it is today.
Yeah, yeah. That's to me. That's one of the most exciting parts of it is someone will bring in a demo and then it just takes on a whole different life when we actually play it with the band, and then it becomes something like. Then we were like, okay, we understand what this song really is, if that makes sense.
Sam talked about the writing aspect of the music, but Eric, how hands-on is the band when it comes to the production side of the music you make?
That's a great question. So this past cycle, so first of all, the first album we made was a live album. So that was just like we were in a studio together with an audience and we just played the music live, which is one that's kind of like the origins of Snack Time is playing live in front of audiences and just kind of cutting our teeth that way. The music that's coming out right now, we recorded last year. And we, before we even went into a studio with our producer named Will Yip, who's got a studio named Studio 4 in Conshohocken, kind of like north of Philly, we got together at my house and we made demos of all of the songs that we wanted to work on. So just trying to get the sounds together, getting the arrangements and how the song is going to go, the arc of the song, and that was super fun. I mean, I love that work. Um, just kind of like getting the blueprint and a kind of sonic palette together, so that once we got into the studio, we really had an idea as far as what we are looking for. So we're not really starting from square one. We already kind of like have the bones of the song that was already made.
With Together Out, what kind of response have you been receiving from Snacktime fans?
Yeah.
It's definitely one of those. It's one of those songs that have just like every single time we play it live, it completely transforms the room. We just came back from a tour with Portugal the Man where we basically were unknown to almost, I would say, 95% of the room, if not more. And basically you're taking your whole 45-minute set and really trying to make people warm up to you. And by the time we get to the end of Together, where we get to the I got you, you got me part, the whole room is popping and bopping and singing along with us. So it's been really amazing to see people take to it in the live setting. And it's streaming pretty well as well. So just trying to get as many ears on it in as many places as possible. But it's definitely became a very special moment for when we play it live.
With Together Out, is this sort of a signal for an EP or maybe even a full album that is in the works?
Yes. 100%. I mean, we just put out a song today, literally at midnight. A song called The High Life just came out, which is very near and dear to all of our hearts. I mean, that one to me is like, that's the one that is most likely to make me cry when I listen to it, honestly. So that's 3 songs out. We're trying to figure out what the best way to put the rest of it out is. I mean, we have more music that's already done. We have more music that we want to record and put together. I think it's really kind of depends on, I don't know, there's so many ways to release music nowadays. It's like,
Right.
you know, trying to just put our heads together and figure out what the best course of action that we feel like would be.
Well, Sam talked about the tour with Portugal the Man, but you all just came back from South by Southwest as well. Sam, what did it mean to you to play such a large venue?
It was really cool to be able to be a part of that legendary festival. We got to play with many different amazing bands and got to meet a lot of amazing people. It's not lost on us that a lot of bands did drop off due to the conflict of you know an unfree Palestine, but I was glad that we were able to speak our mind while we were there and stand up for what we believe in, as well as getting to meet lots of amazing people within our industry. So it was a very net positive experience.
You all have performed for the Phillies, at Philadelphia Union events, the 76ers halftime shows. But how did South by Southwest stack up against these insanely cool opportunities?
I mean, to me, it was just a very unique environment. I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where there was so many bands, so many musicians, and people involved in music in such a in a single place. I think I had the experience of like over the course of a day, I would have seen, I don't know, 20 bands, 30 bands, and I don't know how many times in my life that I've ever done that. So that to me was special. And has it stack up? I mean, it's a totally unique experience. It's like it's it's a I think a very fruitful environment to be in and to be making music in. And I think it's like who knows what's going to come of that. It's like just being around that many people, fans of the music, and also people involved in the industry. It's like you just try to play our heart out, and then hope that you get some sort of kickback. And you might not ever know exactly how or what was the person who was there at which show, but I feel like as a whole, like something I know that something interesting is going to come from there for sure.
Sam, earlier I asked Eric actually if there were some bands at South by Southwest that you really enjoyed seeing live, or maybe even thought about collaborating with on the future in the future. And he mentioned, was it Foxtrot?
Foxtrot.
Was there some bands that maybe stood out for you, at least watching them perform, and even maybe inspired you all to change up your set?
We saw a really cool band called Snooper. They were awesome. It was really great to see Mono Neon play live. Additionally, we played with a really cool band called oh man, I can't remember his name. It was something in the Hired Guns.
Oh,
I can't remember his name right now.
Giovanni
But
something.
they were like Giovanni and the Hired Guns, and they sounded kind of like the Deftones, but then they'd also go to like really cool like Mexican banda music, and then they'd also go to like different kind of like hardcore vibes at some point. It was really cool, and we got to play with them. And ironically enough, they were another band with a sousaphone player. So right, they played right after us at one of our showcases. So some people got confused and they thought we were still on stage. It was pretty funny.
Sam, what can fans expect from a live snack time performance? Is Together a part of it? Will the new track be included from now on as well?
Yeah, I mean, we've been really working on these songs, and they still get transformed almost every single time we play them, but we're pretty locked in. We have an amazing set of music full of all sorts of new releases that are yet to be put online yet, but Together is definitely a part of it. The High Life is definitely a part of it, and we'll continue to keep playing them. And what can people expect? They can expect to have a really good time, to dance along, to sing along, to smile, to feel something, and to just have a good time.
Eric, or maybe even Sam, both of you can talk to this. What would you like to say to fans who are supportive and continue to appreciate the music that Snack Time makes?
And I would just say that we exist because of them, like I could just stay in my house and play guitar all day if I wanted to, but I think the energy that we get from the fans and from people we play for is like it's just so cool. And it's something that we hope it's never taken lightly. I think for us that it's something that we really appreciate and value, um, and want to like respect that people are giving us their attention and their energy. We want to give that back to them with some interest. So just appreciation in one word, I think, is what I would want to convey for sure.
Sam?
Definitely an appreciation for the people who, especially like not just the fans who are our fans. Like we grew a really big group of fans very early on because we were so out there playing for the people and having a great time, but also the appreciation for the people who are coming to check out a band they've never heard of. That's really hard in today's musical environment rather. To take an extra hour out of your day. Everyone's really busy, everyone's working really hard, but to come an hour early to see the opening band, to come to the showcase and check out a band you never heard of, like the music lovers and the music discoverers out there, like you guys make this industry happen. There's a lot of things I think that go against a new band. There's a lot of forces at work to make it very hard for us to promote ourselves. But for the people to come out and take that extra time to come check out the new music is really, really appreciated. So, thank you for the trust. Thank you for believing in us. And thank you for dancing.